My name is Valerie. I'm here today to bring you kind of a all-over, full-body, good-feeling Hatha Yoga class, a little bit slower moving. If you haven't taken my class before, I'm really big about listening to your body, so I'll give you modifications and progressions for everything. My only ask is that you do what feels good for you today. If you want to take it up a notch or down a notch, I'll give you those options, but just honor where you're at. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So find a comfortable seated position. Legs can be crossed, they can be out front. Find somewhere where you can really start to grow tall through the spine. We're just going to spend a moment coming to our breath and working the neck a little bit. So releasing your fingertips to the floor, allowing the top of the head to grow tall towards the ceiling, neck is long. Drop your shoulder blades down your ears and close your eyes for a moment. And really start to find your breath here. Each time you inhale, allowing your belly to expand or bloat out. And as you exhale, releasing all of the air from your lungs. Really breathing in a way that re-energizes your body. So as you inhale, start to visualize new energy, new oxygen coming up through your tailbone, up through your spine, sweeping through the body. And as you exhale, releasing any tension, any stress. And before we begin today, I invite you to set an intention for yourself. And then keeping your eyes closed, just allow your left ear to fall over to your left shoulder. As you inhale, lifting your chin slightly up, and as you exhale, roll it all the way down to your chest. Coming up the other side, right ear to right shoulder. And exhaling, chin to chest. So just taking it side to side, full half circles. And really take a moment here. Start looking for any areas of tightness or tension. And if you find anywhere that feels stuck or tight, just take a moment here. Start to breathe. Imagine your breath coming directly to that area of tightness. And once it starts to loosen, just continue your movement. And whenever you're ready, just rolling your chin down towards your chest and go ahead and come all the way back to neutral. And open your eyes. Nice, take one big breath as you inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, bringing your hands to heart center. Nice, let's go ahead and begin. So allowing your legs to come out long. We're going to take a little bit of movement with breath. As you inhale, reach up towards the sky, grow long through your spine, and as you exhale, take a forward fold, keeping long spine. Nose is reaching for toes. And then here you're going to start to follow your breath. As you inhale, reach up, grow tall. As you exhale, take a crunch. Round out through the spine, reach towards the toes. As you inhale, come all the way back up. And as you exhale, bring your hands behind you. On your inhale, you're going to open up through the chest, draw your shoulders back, and you can choose to stay here or pressing into the heels and coming into reverse plank. Sending the hips down, moving a little faster. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift. Find your crunch. Inhale, lift. Dropping the hands, shoulder opening or reverse plank. And exhale, back down. Let's do that 2 more times without all my commentary. Grow tall, find your crunch. And from here, inhale one more time up tall. And exhale, forward fold, just thinking belly to thigh. And you may hear me breathing strong, so really through the whole practice, allowing your breath to be most important, and the body is just following along with that. And then slowly coming back up. Go ahead and cross your legs or bringing them around. Let's move to hands and knees. Hands are under the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. And from here, we're just taking a twist. Bring your right arm up, reach long through the fingers, open through your chest. As you exhale, swim all the way through to a hover reach. Again, follow breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, reach. One more time. And this time as you swim through, come down all the way down to the right shoulder. Release your head to the floor, and the left hand can stay on the mat, low back, reaching for the ceiling, or maybe taking a bind, wrapping it around, reaching for the front of the opposite thigh. Really find some extension through the belly. Allow your belly to bloat out as you inhale. And if you need more, pressing into the bottom of your right or the top of your right hand. And then staying right where you are, take that top hand, bring it back to the mat if it's not already there, and then start to rotate your chest down towards the mat, lifting the forehead off of the mat. So now you're stretching out the outside of the right shoulder. Pressing into the left hand, come all the way back up, and let's take the other side. Left arm up, big inhale. As you exhale, swim through, reach, hover. Follow breath. Really trying to get the edges of this twist on each side, opening up the spine. One more time. And then taking it all the way through, coming down to that left shoulder. Right hand stays on the ground, low back ceiling, or maybe taking that bind. And same thing, top hand comes back to the floor. Start to rotate your shoulders down, facing towards the floor, and we're stretching the outside of the shoulder again. Pressing into that top hand, come back to hands and knees. Let's just take an easy cat and cow. Spread your fingers as you inhale, lift through the chest, lift through the hips. As you exhale, tuck your tailbone and round it out. Again, moving at your own breath pace. Each time you inhale, draw your belly button down towards the mat, and as you exhale, send it up towards the sky. One more breath. Coming back to the center, tuck your toes and lift your hips for down dog. So down dog doesn't feel good today, your option is always hands and knees throughout the whole class. Otherwise, maybe starting to pedal the feet here, lengthening out to the back of the legs. And then driving your heels down towards the floor, lifting through the hips. As you inhale, come forward and find your plank pose. Driving through the heels, draw up through the belly. And if you find that your hips are sinking lower than the rest of your body, just drop the knees, maintain that strong line. And then from here, sending the hips back up, coming back to down dog. Nice, one more time, shifting forward, finding your plank, and then as slow as you can, knees up or down, come all the way down to the floor. Releasing the tops of the feet and coming to the forearms this time. Elbows are under the shoulders. Start to open up through the chest, draw your shoulder blades back, send your hips down and towards the floor. And then coming back to the center. You're at my house, so it's a little bit of cat yoga. Coming back down to the floor, hands by the chest, and we're coming back to down dog. So either shifting through hands and knees, or tuck your toes, lift your hips, and come into down dog. Starting to look between the hands, step forward for forward fold. Hands can come to shin, ankle, or floor. Just release here. And then soften your knees, tuck your tailbone and roll it up. One vertebra at a time, nice and soft. All the way through the shoulders as you inhale, reach up. Start to reach through your fingers and take a slight back bend here. So squeeze the glutes, send your hips forward, open up to the chest. Make this happen from the glutes versus your low back. Whenever you are ready, inhale, come all the way up, and as you exhale, forward fold, long spine. Again, hands come to shin, ankle, or floor. Soften the knees, tuck your tailbone, roll it up. Let's do that 2 more times a little faster. Inhale, reach. As you exhale, forward fold. Soften the knees, tuck your tailbone, roll it up. Deliberate movement as if you're being zipped into a tight suit. One more time. Soften the knees, tuck the tailbone, roll it up. Nice. As you inhale, reach up. As you exhale, bringing your hands to heart center. Let's get moving just a little bit. We'll keep it slow. As you inhale, reach up. As you exhale, forward fold. Come all the way down. From here, come up halfway and find your flat spine. So fingertips can touch the floor or the shin. Hips are reaching towards the back of the room as the top of the head reaches towards the front of the room. And then drawing your belly button into your spine, deepen your fold. Both hands come to the mat, bending at the knees. Step the left leg back for lunge. Come all the way up, one hand at a time or both hands. Start to drive through that back heel, open up through the hips, sending the hips forward and then drawing the shoulders back. As you inhale, taking a slight back bend. As you exhale, coming forward and start to straighten the leg a little bit or a lot, depending on what's your flexibility is at today. We're going to move from there. Bend through the knee. Inhale, come up, open. Exhale, come down. Straighten the front leg. You can stay at this pace or move a little faster. Inhale, open. Exhale, straighten on the way down. 2 more times. And then the next time you come up to your lunge, hold it. Start to bring both hands down with the knee bent, and if you can, bring your right hand to the inside of the leg. Really start to sink your hips closer to the ground so your knees are reaching away from one another. Making sure that that knee stays over ankle. If it's not, just reach back, grab the foot, bring it up. One more breath, maybe coming a little lower, the outside forearm, maybe both. Coming back to the hands. If you're not already, bring the right hand back to the outside and step the front leg back for down dog. Go ahead and take 2 full breaths here. Using all of your hand, use your fingertips, your knuckles. And on your next inhale, come all the way forward, plank. As you exhale, coming all the way to the floor or to a hover. And this time as you inhale, coming up, cobra or up dog. Shoulders back, shoulders away from the ears. Elbows are slightly bent. Allow your hips to sink into the mat. And whenever you're ready, we're moving back to down dog again through hands and knees, or tuck your toes, lift your hips, down dog. Starting to look between the hands. Take the left leg, step it forward. So we're taking lunge, other side. Come all the way up. Again, driving through that back heel. Hips are forward, open through the chest and shoulders. So right here, we're challenging balance slightly. We're going to take some movement. As you exhale, come forward. Straighten that front leg. Again, taking your own pace. Start to move with your breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. 2 more times. And then bending into that front knee, come all the way back up for your lunge. And then staying low, bring both hands to the floor, left hand comes to the inside. Same thing, bringing the hips as closer to the floor. Your hips are reaching away from one another. And again, choosing to stay here or maybe lowering. Whenever you're ready, bringing that left hand to the outside and stepping the back foot to the front for forward fold. Hold it here for 2 breaths. And then soften your knees, tuck your tailbone, roll it up 1 vertebrae at a time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. As you inhale, come halfway up to that flat back. And as you exhale, deepen the fold. Both hands come down to the ground, bend the knees if you need to, step the left leg back, and we're moving to warrior 1. So drop that back heel, back foot's at a 45-degree angle, and then inhale, come all the way up. So hips and shoulders are facing to the front. If that's not happening, take your feet a little wider. Press into the front foot, send weight to the outside of the back foot. As you inhale, come up, straighten that front leg. As you exhale, sink. Inhale, come all the way up, this time moving to pyramid. Start to slide your hands down and come down wherever you are with that front leg straight. Thigh, shin, ankle, or floor. And this can be an intense stretch, so much more important to keep the front leg straight than how far down you come. Really driving your hips back, and if you need more, rotate the front of your left thigh down. Press through the hands, soften through the front knee, come all the way back up, warrior 1. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, maybe using your abdominals, reaching for the front, coming down wherever you were, thigh, shin, ankle, or floor. And as you're here, take your face, reach all the way for your toes versus curling up through the back. Really bring your belly button down towards your thigh. And then keeping where you are, bend through the front leg. And you're going to take your hands and walk them all the way to the left, coming into a straddle. And allow yourself to sink down maybe to the forearms. If your hands are all that's there, then just stay on the hands. Really sending your hips up and back. As you're here, thinking about using one long line through the spine, so keeping it nice and straight instead of rounding out through the low back. And if you need more, take your hands, walk them between the legs. Start to draw your thigh or chest closer to your thighs. And then from here, start to put all of your weight into the heels, hands come to your hips, and then using the legs and the butt to come up versus your back, come all the way back up. Send your toes facing towards the front of the mat, and step to the front for forward fold, or for standing mountain pose. As you inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. As you inhale, come halfway up to that flat spine. And as you exhale, deepen the fold. Keeping both hands on the ground, bend the knees if you need to. Let's take the right leg back this time, coming into your warrior 1, other side. Same thing, hips and shoulders are facing the front, and you want your legs to have a little bit of room in between them. Nice and strong. If you have it, sink. As you inhale, come all the way up, straighten the leg. As you exhale, sink a little further. Inhale, lift, keeping the front leg straight. Start to slide it down, find your edge. Again, wherever you're at with the front leg straight, thigh, shin, ankle, or floor. And if you're feeling particularly tight today, again, just imagine your breath coming directly to that area of tightness. And let your breath do some of the work for you. And then pressing into your hands, bend through the front knee. Come all the way back up. Warrior one. One more time. Inhale, straighten both legs. This time using your abdominals. Come right back to your edge, wherever that was. Thigh, shin, ankle, floor. Imagine a long spine draping over your leg. Again, toes are reaching, or your nose is reaching for your toes. Keep rotating the front of your right thigh down towards the mat. And then staying where you are, start to bend into the front knee, walk your hands over to the right, coming back to a straddle. So from here, we're going to kind of work through that, elongating the back of the legs, staying right where you are. So from here, if you find that pancake or sitting straddle on the floor keeps your low back rounded, we're going to practice with that a little bit right now. So as you're in your straddle, press into your hands and really send your hips up and back, trying to flatten out through the spine. Then from here, tuck your tailbone, round out through the low back, and then come right back. Send your hips up and back. This should be the same feeling as the floor, but this time standing is just a little easier. It allows you to work with gravity versus having to use your core to lift. So if you find it a little struggle on the floor, this is a great way to work it. Take a few breaths here, really sending your hips up and back. Active the whole time. And if you have a lot of flexibility, again, maybe coming to forearms, but without losing that tailbone lift, right? And then wherever you are, shifting your weight into your heels, hands come to your hips, bring it all the way back up using legs and butt. Then again, turning your toes towards the front of the mat, step to the front, shake out the legs. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then just holding here for a moment. Start to soften your knees, tuck your tailbone and roll it up. We're going to bring it into the side body, so as you inhale, lift, send your fingertips towards the sky. We're going to take a side bend over to the left, really pressing heavy through that right foot. Opening through the chest, taking a big breath. On your next inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, take the other side. This time pressing heavy into the left foot. Again, pushing all that air into the side of the lungs. And as you inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, release your hands down. Shake it out. From here, just bringing your hands to heart center. We're going to work on a little bit of balance. If this is tricky or off today, there's nothing you can do about it. Just keep your arms out. From here, you're going to shift forward, start to lift through the heels, and come into your toes. So if you find a little bit of shakiness between the ankles, that's okay, not a problem. Just think about really drawing everything inward, and that includes inner thighs, pelvic muscles. Try to find a good balance here. Whenever you're ready, slowly dropping the heels, very slightly lifting and lifting the toes. And then coming back to center. Nice and easy, shifting your weight to one side. You're going to take the other side into tree pose, doesn't matter which. So foot can stay down for balance if it's off. Maybe bring it above the knee or below the knee, or maybe all the way up high. Either way, everything's still squeezing in towards your midline. As you inhale, bring your arms all the way overhead and then start to lengthen through the fingers and the rib cage, so challenging your balance a little bit more. more. And then bringing your hands all the way back to heart center. Let's go ahead and switch the legs. Take the other side, finding your tree pose, whatever that is today. And again, if balance is an issue, maybe finding some place to gaze on the floor that's 6 or 8 feet in front of you, something that's not moving. And then whenever you are ready, lengthening all the way through the arms, reach it up towards the sky, lengthen through the rib cage. And then bringing it all the way back around. Release the leg, shake it out. As you inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, forward fold, hold here. Just taking a few breaths here. Releasing the shoulders, the neck, even the arms. Soften the knees. Tuck your tailbone, roll it up one vertebrae at a time. Nice. As you inhale, reach up, and as you exhale, back to forward fold. This time, place both hands on the mat and step both legs back for down dog. From here, left leg comes up for three-legged dog. Just allow that right heel to sink a little further towards the floor. And making sure that both hip bones are facing down so that those left toes are facing down towards the mat. One more breath. And then from here, nice and slowly draw that left knee into your chest and shift forward to plank. Hold it. Send it back out. You can stay here doing that one more time, drawing the knee into the chest, press through the hands, push the shoulder blades up and squeeze. Send it back out. This time, dropping that leg to the floor and coming all the way to your plank. Choosing to stay here or adding one tricep push-up here, so squeezing the elbows into the body, leading with the chest, come all the way to a hover and press it all the way back up. From here, we're coming all the way to the floor. Releasing the tops of the feet, hands stay by the chest, and then inhale, cobra or up dog. Again, just allowing the hips to sink into the floor, shoulders come up. Big breath here. And then nice and slowly come all the way down, tucking your toes, going through hands and knees or through plank, back to down dog. Let's take the other side, right leg up. Allow that left heel to sink and make sure the right toes are facing down. One more breath, really releasing the back of that left leg. And then from here, inhale, come forward for plank, knee to chest, press, hold. Send it back. Staying here or doing that one more time, bring it in. Send it back. And then dropping that foot to the floor. Inhale, come forward for plank. And exhale, come all the way down. As slow as you can, leading with your chest. And then releasing the tops of the feet. Bring your right arm parallel to the front of the mat. And you're going to start to bend the left leg and reach back for the left ankle. So I'm just coming into a quad stretch here. Start to drive your hips down into the mat. As you draw your foot into your body, I want you to take a moment and just find breath here. Start finding a pattern, so each time you inhale, draw your foot in. Each time you exhale, drive your hips down and press your foot in towards your hand. The more you press your hips down, the more you're going to feel this stretch. And then slowly releasing the leg, switch your hand, switch your cheek, and take the other side. Drawing the foot in. As you exhale, drive your hips down. Again, just finding your breath here. Couple more breaths, trying to keep it actively engaged the whole time. And then slowly releasing that down. From here, go ahead and bring your forehead to the mat and bring your hands alongside you, palms down. From here, I'm going to take a little bit of breath pattern. As you inhale, lift through the feet just slightly. As you exhale, bring them down. Follow your breath. And this should be very small movements. So you're not coming up so high or cranking your low back. You're just engaging your full core. One more time. And then coming all the way back down, hands by the chest, start to press through hands and knees. Take your knees wide and sit back into your child's pose. Arms are long, drop your forehead to the mat. And then from here, take your hands and walk them all the way over to the right, reaching long with your left fingers. And start to play with a little movement here. Shift your hips or your chest right to left. Kind of find that sweet spot whether you need more towards the low back or the outside of the shoulder. And if you need a little bit more, press with your right hand and pull with your left hand. And then walking your hands all the way in the other direction. Same thing, reaching long with the right fingers, kind of find that sweet spot for you. Once you do, get into your edge so that as you inhale, you're expanding through the rib cage. And again, your breath is doing some of the work for you. And then coming all the way back to center. One more breath. And from here, starting to shift forward, finding hands and knees. Once again, spreading your fingers, tuck your toes, and find down dog. Maybe needing to walk out that legs, hips. Maybe starting to walk out the legs. Coming back to center, we're moving into our pigeon. So left leg comes up. Again, right heel sinks. And this time, bending the left knee, start to lift that knee towards the ceiling. Opening up the hips, stacking your hip bones on top of one another. And then coming back to center, let's take that left knee to the outside of the left wrist and walk your right leg back. Once you find your place, you're not shifted one way or another, just start to slowly sink into it. And we're taking this very passive today. So finding a comfortable position and then coming to your breath so that each time you exhale, see if you can release any tension that you're consciously holding. See if you can sink a little bit further into the mat. Maybe starting to lengthen one arm, maybe both arms. Couple more breaths. And if you're at home and this is not comfortable, you can always place a block or a blanket underneath your left hip or underneath your pelvis. Maybe even just underneath your forehead. Taking one more full breath. And then whenever you're ready, walking your hands in towards your body, lifting through the chest. Really focus on sending the front of your right hip down towards the mat. As those are squared off, lifting through the chest and then choosing to stay here, add that back leg or adding a bind. And then releasing that leg. Both hands come to the floor, tuck the back toes, and then send the front leg back for down dog. Again, just starting to walk it out through the legs. Nice. And then from here, let's take the other side, right leg up, three-legged dog. Allow the left heel to sink. This time bending the right knee, lifting it towards the ceiling. Coming back to center, let's take pigeon other side. So right knee to the outside of the right wrist and walk your left leg back. So as always, if you need more, draw your foot away from your body, and if you need less, draw it in towards your body. And then from here, find your relaxation into this. So really sinking into it. And this could take your time. If you feel like you're tight today, walking it down nice and slow. But you're using your breath and relaxing into it versus really pressing into the stretch as it being more active. Again, just allowing yourself to sink a little further with each exhale. Really trying to stay fully present with your breath. So if your mind wanders while you're here, just bring it in. And extending through one arm or both. Take one more full breath. And then walking your hands in towards your body, lift through the hips, lift through the shoulders. Again, staying here, rotating the front of your left thigh down, or adding a leg or adding a bind. So this bind is not sideways today, we're facing to the front. So opening up through the shoulder as well. And then releasing that leg down, and this time come onto your right hip and just bring the left leg all the way around, shake it out. We're gonna work on opening some of the inner thighs, the low back. So take your legs as wide as you can here. So as big of straddle as you have. And just as like we were standing, gonna rotate the front of your pelvis down and keep a nice tall spine. If you find that this is rounding out through the low back, just reach behind you, shift your hips forward, allow your chest to lift. If you can maintain that pelvic tuck here, then hold it to the front. From here, start to walk your hands forward. And you're not gonna go near as far as if you were to round it out. Really think about belly button and pelvis down, shoulders are up. From here, I want you to use the muscles in your hips to propel yourself forward. Maybe take your arms long, and then activate your legs and drive them down into the mat. And then staying as low as possible. Start to walk your hands all the way over to the right. Reaching along with both arms, but even more specifically the left arm. And then walking your hands all the way to the front, staying low. Take it all the way to the other side, reaching along with the right arm. coming back to center. One more full breath, see if you can come a little lower. And then nice and easy, come all the way up. Grab the inner thighs, draw them in, start to shake out the legs. From here, take your right leg, cross it over the left. Opposite arm wraps around the knee. You're going to inhale, grow tall, and exhale, take a twist towards the right. As you inhale, grow taller, let your belly expand, and as you exhale, maybe deepening the twist if that's where your breath takes you today. Keep focusing on driving your right hip down as you draw that same knee into your chest. And then coming back to the center, go ahead and release that leg, shake them out, and let's take the other side. Left leg crosses over, opposite arm wraps. You're going to inhale, grow tall. Exhale, this time twisting to the left. Same breath pattern as you grow tall, as you inhale. Exhale, deepening your twist. And same thing, really driving that hip down as you draw the knee in. And then nice and easy, coming back to the center, shake out the legs. And start to draw your feet in. We're moving towards boat pose. So bring your chest open, shoulders back, nice tall spine. So if you find yourself rounding out as you lift, just bring your legs back down. You're going to draw your belly button forward, shoulders up and back, and find a hover here. So this might be it today, just really squeezing thigh to belly. If you would like more, maybe starting to extend a leg, extending the other, maybe the arms. But finding some place you can still find full breath. And if you've got those legs extended, really squeeze them inward. Use those inner thighs. And whenever you're ready, slowly bringing your feet to the floor, round it out and take a breath. And then just start to extend through the legs. As you inhale, reach up, and as you exhale, bring your hands behind your back, fingertips facing away from your toes. You're going to try to bring your hands a little bit closer together than you normally would. Open through the shoulders and keep a slight bend to the elbows here. So you can stay right here. If you feel like you need more, just use your feet, shift your hips forward. But still staying in a motion where you can keep the shoulders open and they don't round forward. So as you find your breath here, you're going to draw your shoulders back and down. Really focus on using the muscles between the shoulder blades to make that happen. Whenever you are ready, tucking your chin to your chest, keeping that bend in the elbow just slightly, and if you shifted forward, move yourself back. Extend through the legs one more time, forward fold. Hands reach down for shin, ankle, or feet. Keep drawing your belly button down, but your head is reaching all the way towards your feet. And then releasing that out, let's do one more for the shoulders. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, this time bringing your fingertips facing your toes. You can choose just to stay here, opening through the shoulders. If you want more, bring your feet in and come into reverse tabletop. So pressing through the feet, lifting through your hips, and your hips are only going to come as high as your shoulders will allow. So if that's here, that's here. If you work the shoulders a lot, you feel really open today, maybe taking some rocks front to back. And whenever you're ready, slowly dropping the hips one last time, extend through the legs, forward fold. And then sliding the hands all the way up the legs, go ahead and scoot yourself over. We're going to roll down to your back. So you can use your thighs, the floor, or maybe just your abdominals, doing one vertebra at a time. Coming all the way to your back, and start to draw your feet in. You're going to take your right leg and cross it over the left knee, and your arms are coming out for a T, palms down. From here, start to draw that left knee into your chest as you push the right knee away from you. So try to get as active as you can here, really pressing the knee into the ankle, so don't let this be very passive. Two more breaths, and I want you to use the muscles in your right leg to push that knee away and to try to draw the right foot forward so you're not just using the left knee to do that. And then from here, you're just going to start to rotate your hips over to the left and dropping the sole of the right foot towards the floor. Really still pushing the knee up towards the sky, opening through the hips. And then coming all the way back to the center, release that foot, switch sides. This time start to draw the right knee in. Just let that left knee push towards the outside. Start by being active. Press the knee into the foot. So you're primarily using your right leg to send that left ankle up towards the chest. One more breath. And now start to really activate the left leg by sending that knee out and then actively using your left leg to draw your left ankle in, even though your right leg is assisting. And then releasing, take a twist. Sole of the left foot goes to the floor, really pressing the knee towards the sky. And then coming back to center. Go ahead and bring your hands all the way by your sides. We're moving to bridge pose. So walking your feet in, tuck your tailbone, press through the soles of your feet, start to come up one vertebrae at a time, lifting the hips off the floor. Making sure the neck is nice and long so you're gazing out over your belly. Draw your shoulders in. You can stay here, activating the inner thighs. Knees reach for the front. And if you're coming into full wheel or back bend, you already know where you're going. You're going to bring your hands to the top of your head. As you inhale, come to the top of your head. And as you exhale, press up into your back bend. So whether your back bend is not as bendy, like my own, or real bendy, this is the biggest stretch you can get for the front of the body. Whenever you're ready, tucking your chin, come all the way down, roll it one vertebrae at a time. And then bringing your hands back to your hips if they're not already. Let's come into your inversion for the day. So you can start by just lifting the heels, driving them towards the sky. Low back is down towards the mat, and if you want, just allowing blood flow to reverse from here. If you would like more, start to bend the knees, press into the hands, lift your hips and come into your candlestick pose. So bringing knees off of the floor, maybe coming into your plow, maybe shoulder stand, whatever that is for you. And I just want you to take a few breaths in this moment. So allowing blood flow to reverse, and give yourself some movement in the legs if that's comfortable, right? And whenever you're ready, drawing your knees in towards your body and slowly rolling it back down. You're going to bring your arms straight out to the sides, palms down, draw your knees in, and just let your knees fall over to the right. So trying to maintain contact with the left shoulder to the floor. And for a moment, come back to your breath. Really let your body expand or your belly expand on those inhales, especially during a twist. As you inhale, bring the knees in. Exhale, take the other side. Same thing, finding full breath. This time keeping the right shoulder in contact with the floor. Same thing, expanding through the belly on your inhales. Nice and slowly draw your knees in towards your chest. Then place your hands around your knees and take one last rock side to side. Just massaging out the low back. And then releasing your feet to your floor, and you're moving into your final pose of Savasana. So if you're watching your low back today, maybe keeping the feet wide, allow your knees to prop together. You can also just extend through the legs, through the arms, maybe taking an open with the legs, knees out, soles of the feet together. So just finding some pose that feels good for you today to sink into, to close your eyes. And as you're here, coming back to your breath. Trying to find that gentle rhythm between the rise and fall of your chest, your belly. And just for a moment or two, without a lot of guidance from me, it's just you, your breath, and your mat.